Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is the SCB Steelers Inside Blitz, presented by Deck Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. And we are very proud to be part of the Variety Sports Network. And of course, the show is originating from the Frank Walker Law Studio. This is our little short form podcast that I've been doing leading into the regular show, which comes up Thursday night at 10 p.m. And just grateful to everybody who continues to be involved with the show as a commenter, viewer, listener, all that wonderful stuff. So make sure you check us out Thursday night, 10 p.m. on YouTube. And we also air live on X, formerly known as Twitter. Okay, so Steelers are coming off a pretty brutal loss. Might be the most brutal loss of the year. Down 25-3 at one point. They lose 25-10 to the Chargers. I would argue that the defensive effort was decent enough to be competitive in the game if the offense had done anything. They sacked Justin Herbert 5 times. And of course, the one key statistic that has defined whether this team wins games or loses games is turnovers, and they did not create any. And so, therefore, that was the big problem. Offensively, just a nightmare. Didn't block well, didn't catch the ball. Rodgers was easily as bad as he's been as a Pittsburgh Steelers player. He evoked memories of some of his games with the Jets. It wasn't good. I mean, he looked like he was pressing constantly, trying to make plays that just weren't there. He had the one throw to Jonnu Smith that Smith didn't have anybody within 10 yards of him and threw the ball high. That's got to be just a catchable ball. But that was really the story. And then when he did throw accurate passes like the one to Calvin Austin III, Calvin let it go right through his hands and was intercepted. So it was just that kind of night. I think you saw the frustration from not only Mike Tomlin, but players as well. TJ Watt hit the nail on the head. We can't keep doing this. We can't keep relying on turnovers to win games. You've got to be able to play mano a mano, as they say, straight up, because that's just not going to happen every week. And so in my book, this week coming up is huge because it's a Bengals team that they lost 33-31 to in Cincinnati against Joe Flacco, and they'll see Joe Flacco again this Sunday. And that defense is brutal. They've traded off Logan Wilson. It doesn't look like we're going to see Trey Hendrickson again because he's dinged up. So there's just we'll get more into it on the show Thursday night, but there is just you have to win this game. You don't win this game, then you're not. I just can't see us beating Buffalo or Detroit. I can't see us beating Baltimore more than one time. And right now I'm concerned we can beat them twice, once at all, I should say. But be that as it may, it's a game the Steelers have to win. They just do. The other thing this week is you'll notice they did sign Asante Samuel Jr., the defensive back, former second round pick of the LA Chargers. And just had a real awful injury that resulted in him having spinal fusion surgery. The way I look at this is that I think it's more about next year than it really is this year. You'll notice he signed to the practice squad. Take time, get to learn the defense, get to learn the people you're playing with. I'm not saying he couldn't be activated, next week. I mean, because he could be. We're so decimated in some areas in the secondary that it's possible. I just think coming off a surgery like that, you've really got to let the young man kind of test the waters, see how physical he can be, how physical he can handle the play, and just get his legs back underneath him. And so to me, this was a pretty low risk signing. And you have him in the fold for next year, because if ultimately if he does start to come around, make some plays for you this year, or you like what you see just in practice, then you've got him for next year. And just understanding that, it's a constant risk coming off of an injury like that. But I that's my gut feeling, is I think it's more about next year than this year. But that again, I'm not in any way suggesting that doesn't mean they won't use him this year, because they need him. They need people right now desperately. Corey Trice headed to injured reserve again. He was a guy that if he would have been healthy, he would have been a day two pick. But because he had all the health problems, and the skills are there, the size is there, everything's there. But unfortunately, so are the injuries, and I don't know how much longer the Steelers can hang with him. But so that's some of the shakeups going on there, and I think many of you have probably seen we've hit this annual rite of passage where Mike Tomlin comes up whenever jobs open up. His name pops up as something that, well, if the Steelers get tired of him, he'll find work in 5 minutes. Look, okay, there's two things here. Yes, if Mike Tomlin chose to leave because he's not getting fired, that's not how it happens in Pittsburgh, everybody. He's not getting fired. He when he chooses to leave, it will be either his choice, or the ownership will go to him and say, Mike, we need to make a change, and we want to send you out on your terms, and so let's do it. And that's the way this will work. Okay, you're not going to see the word fired next to Mike Tomlin anytime soon. Okay. So the rumor that came out of New York from Ian O'Connor. Now, O'Connor's a very well-known journalist. He's been around at numerous outlets for years. He's also helped write books. I think he co-authored Aaron Rodgers' book, if I'm not mistaken. But he suggested that the New York Football Giants could possibly make a play for Tomlin. As you know, Tomlin's under contract, so they would have to trade for him. I'm of the opinion that you don't trade for coaches, but it's happened before. John Gruden, notably. I just don't see it happening. And look, I think Mike's a good coach. I like Mike Tomlin. I've always liked Mike Tomlin. I've argued for really the last couple of seasons that it is time for a change, both for the franchise and for him. I think he could be successful elsewhere, but right now he is stuck in a barely above 500 rut, no postseason wins in almost a decade, and that's the frustration level. Okay, and if the Giants ponied up and said, "Hey, we'll give you a couple first rounders," I'm not saying no if I'm the Steelers. There is no way, especially, are you kidding me, with a draft coming in to Pittsburgh in the spring? And I'm I'm unveiling a new head coach, but now I'm sitting on all these draft picks, and I need a quarterback. I mean, oh my God, it would just be the perfect scenario. But again, we are getting a little out of control because that's just not how the Steelers do things. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I would. You know that. I just said it. I would do it. But the Steelers aren't going to do that. Okay. And again, if and when Mike chooses, that's what'll happen. But this is probably the third or fourth year that we've seen this kind of talk. I mean, I've heard, back before the Commanders went with Mike Quinn, there was rumors about Tomlin going there. There was rumors last year, if you recall, about him going to the Bears. There's always rumors, and that's just how the system works these days. I don't really know any other way to put it. So this week coming up on the show, Thursday night, November 13th. And again, we'll be live on X as well as right on our YouTube channel, and totally invite you to come on in, join in the chat. We have great folks. We have knowledgeable people. We have opinionated people like we are. We have very funny people. And I think they enjoy having some cocktails right along with us. And I would invite you to do the same. It's a great time. I know it's late, especially if you're on the East Coast, but enjoy it. And if you don't, catch up with it on your own time. And certainly we appreciate it. We now offer, you can subscribe, but we now offer some really low cost memberships to help us keep affording doing this stuff. And got a great group of members already. And I do a weekly post game comments just for the members only. And we've got a couple other things that are coming down the pike as well. So look forward to hopefully seeing you at the show on Thursday, and hopefully we can discuss without too much swearing. Well, that's not going to happen. Everybody swears on the show. In any case, it's going to be a fun show because everybody's frustrated, and we'll get into the why and the how and all that kind of stuff. So, hope everybody has a great rest of the week, and hope to see you on the show tomorrow night. And as always, go Steelers. We've had some drinks.